Hey, welcome to the Scorpio channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to the channel, I'm going to do a message for my winner. But I always find that you're a magnet of who and what needs to come into your life. So if you land on it and you resonate with it, well, it wouldn't be a coincidence. We're not in charge of who comes to us. We're only in charge of giving the message. See, that's the whole thing. Doing this job, we're not supposed to have any expectation, and that's hard, especially like when you really care about something. Just like when you really care about your relationship, right? When you really care about a person, you think about them a lot. And that energy is a lot of psychic energy. And so psychic energy can be made to manifest things. Now, when you have a soul relationship, and that soul relationship is a twin flame relationship, it doesn't mean that the person is 100% balanced. Hey, John. It doesn't mean that the person's perfect. It doesn't. A lot of times with the twin flame relationship, we know that there's a runner and that there's a chaser. There's different levels of relationships. Now, a twin flame, I'm just going to say this because for my winner, she sent me a few questions, and part of the questions were that the energy around her is heavy. She always feels that this person's energy. And you will always feel the energy until you actually integrate the spiritual lesson. If that person really wasn't your twin flame, they would stay at a lower consciousness. They wouldn't step up into a higher state of consciousness. They would stay at a low vibration. See, during separation, your twin flame is supposed to be working on themselves. Doesn't mean that they don't date other people, but it's not like they're finding themselves. Now, again, how they know about unconditional love is the fact that they continue to return back to their twin. It's like because they're looking for that twin in every single person, but not until they're ready to step into their divine essence are they going to come into your life. So it's not an easy relationship. I only say that because the person's asked me, is the cord cut? No, the cord's not cut. And it's not going to be cut until the spiritual lesson is learned. Until otherwise, then what winds up happening is you're going to meet people and situations that have the same types of energy, not as much as your soulmate twin flame, but there's not going to be as much passion. There's not going to be as much chemistry. There's not going to be as much, we wouldn't stick around long enough to learn the spiritual lesson. I just wanted to put that out there. So if you say, oh, I'm connected to someone, I always feel their energy and they're not in my life, like, are they ever going to get their energy off of me? No, not until they learn the spiritual lesson, but you also are open to it. See, it's your energy, your emotion and your thoughts create a lot of emotions. How do you manifest? Through, again, your thoughts and your emotions. The only thing is that you're not taking action. So everything stays in the spiritual realm, in the mind. But ESP, through the heart and mind, past life karmic mate is what a twin flame is until they're ready to step into their divine counterpart. So we're going to first see whether this person really is your soulmate twin flame relationship, or whether is it just a karmic connection. And you'll know that. And also, why did you attract this person into your life? Once you learn what needs to be integrated and then transmuted, again, that energy, then a lot of times you don't resonate with the person anymore. That's how you really know whether the person's your soulmate twin flame. So, like I said, there's a purpose for the relationships. And that's true. You are love. So let's look and see. Now, if you want to enter into winning free reading with me, you gotta like the video, subscribe to the channel, write the word of the video in your comment bar. Now, what the questions were not just about that energy, but like, will the energy be cut? But um, inconsistently showing up, signs everywhere. Like I said, you're open to those signs, Maisie. You're open to those signs. You're looking for those signs because you wouldn't notice them. See, if your mind was on something else, but there's a part of you that's still holding on to this person. And so energetically, I feel like they can obviously feel it. So a lot of times you reunite. You reunite after, this person has dated a few people and lived a few different lives. That's why I'm saying you shouldn't sit there and wait, because the whole point of the soulmate twin flame relationship is that they learn what unconditional love is. Because on some level they were never they were never taught that. So you're not giving yourself enough love. The whole point of the runner chaser dynamic is that sometimes you're going to be disconnected from that person and vice versa. That is very rarely are you like on the same page at the same time. That's the irony. You're dating with someone that triggers you. They're supposed to trigger you to bring all that shit up, all that trauma up, and all those wounds up. Otherwise, you wouldn't look at them. So, like I said, being that this person's living with somebody else right now and being with somebody else right now, and the fact that they didn't care, that they left with somebody that was your friend, that, again, like to me, is more like a karmic mate, diluted. So it's, again, I feel like you and this person had a really strong, passionate connection. And this person really attracted to you. And almost like when you first met this person, I feel like they put you on a pedestal. But they didn't build the emotional connection with you because they've always been in and out of your life. And also the fact that they could leave and be with your friend, really, like left, that's a sign too that this person's a karmic, because they don't care. There's a sense that I feel like when they met you, you were like almost like you said, they put you on a pedestal. And then once they got together with you, there was like this intense chemistry, but you actually held this person to a standard, and this person was not on your vibration. And I feel like they got angry and they got triggered, and they actually, if anything, they were mean. They were mean. So I'm not telling you this to make you feel bad, but it's like I don't even need to pull cards. I don't really use cards, but we'll pull cards to back up what I'm saying, and diluted is part of it. That's the problem. Like the person only really cared about themselves. Like I feel like, again, there was a lot of passion, there was a lot of chemistry. The relationship went really, really fast. And like, does this person think about you? That's the best that we can ask. Because do I feel like this person is going to come back tomorrow? No, I don't. Unfortunately, I feel like this person was a karmic mate. It's like that they came into your life and they swept you up. To almost like conquer you, to control you. Like it was like almost like this person like put you on a pedestal because of your life. It wasn't just you, it was everything about you. And so it's like almost like I feel like they were like almost like obsessed. And they went from one extreme to another extreme because the relationship went like a really, really fast. And it was because it was built on passion. But passion without emotional connection, it's like, and you held to a standard, which I feel like this person like got irritated with, because yeah, you kind of have to, a person needs to get used of like how people are, like otherwise the relationship goes too fast, and then every little thing that you ask for seems like a big deal, because the person sees this as a passionate connection, a fun connection, but not one that's like a long haul. Now I know that they might have said that that's what they wanted, but by the cards, to me, I feel like no, this person has a lot of like unresolved issues. They have a lot of baggage. Um, they don't like responsibilities, so they don't really want to be held to a certain standard. Um, and here it is, like you wanted it because of the passion. You're like, well, you listen, I want you to be XYZ for me, and now this person has a problem with it, and it could be anything. And it's because looked at you for passion, then what happens is it's like you're making this person like step into like that vibration that they don't want to do. And that's why they like got spiteful, because it's like, again, they looked at you like fantasy, because relationships is something that happen over time. Trust is something that happens over time. That passion, because the person was swept away in you, but it's not who you really were. It's there was their perception of you. So that's why, you know, um, I'll answer everyone else's questions after this channeled message for the winner. But was this person a soulmate? They sure were. They were a soulmate, so you're not crazy. They just were like a past life karmic mate. So they came into your life to teach you. So would they resurface? Listen, there was a passionate connection. So understand that person. Don't put it past them. It's like, because that's their energy. They're player type energy. And if you think that they're going to stay faithful to the person that they left you for, they're not. It's like anytime anyone holds them to a certain standard, they're going to have a problem with that. So, but they'll make it like it was you, to try and knock down your self-esteem. And that's what this person tried to do, but that's not, they don't really want that kind of committed relationship. They want a one-sided relationship. So again, there's a lot of attraction. That's really what it was. And I hate to say, because I know that you care about this person. The situation or event in question, like I said, if the person was going to come back, they would come back like around the holidays. But would they be free of and just be yours? No. The thing is, every time that they would come back, they would expect you to take a little bit less, a little bit less, a little bit less. That's how you know that they're a karmic mate. Anyone that makes you question what you deserve, anyone that makes you settle for less than what they know what you deserve. So, and it doesn't mean that there isn't passion. John, same thing. It doesn't matter if you're gay. It's like love is love, passion is passion. It's like, it doesn't matter. People that we're talking about, the psychological and the emotional things. So you can have a soulmate that, is a past life karmic mate. Remember, this person knows you for many, many lifetimes. You didn't learn the lesson, but there's many different realities that play it at one time. Your level of consciousness depends on your core beliefs, which are dependent on the experiences that you live. So when the experience plays out karmically, it's that spirit saying is like, you didn't learn the spiritual lesson. That's why there's still like a part of you that's like, but I want this person to come back. I miss this person. But it's almost like this person isn't who you think that they are. They're that you're thinking that you're imagining that they're someone that they're not. It's like because they showed you that for you to fall in love with them. And there was a lot of attraction. That's what was really there. That's the thing. It's like it's almost like you have to release this situation. It's like, and I know that you don't want to, but I feel like you gave this person too much time. I say this because it's like, see these crosses, it's like giving up, okay? But the purpose driven. So when you give more time to somebody and not your purpose, and I like your purpose is what connects you to the earth and other people in the earth. It's what we get emotionally, not from a lover, but again, emotionally, how we get fed spiritually, emotionally, and also psychologically, because when you're interactive in your life through the passions, through things that interest you, you connect to other people on a deep, intimate level. This person was detached. They again, and that you didn't notice that. From Instagram, Dr. Shakira Fatima is live. Let's talk an eye emoji. So it's like they didn't. So that's the thing. I feel like you didn't notice certain things because, you wanted that passion from this person, and you didn't. You were like too close up to the picture almost, and it's like if you were in a desert and you didn't have water, you would see mirages of water everywhere because you're looking for it, you want it, and you desire it. And that's the thing. It's like, so it's not like this person didn't have feelings for you. It's not like you didn't, like you were crazy. Past life karmic mates, there is love there, but it's the fact that the person like isn't who they say that they are. And it goes from one extreme to another. And then why does that happen? Again, because you gave too much. There was a part of you that, you know, like has been traumatized by relationships, like not showing up on an emotional level, betrayal, even because something like that doesn't happen. So I feel like you're going to meet somebody else in about 1 to 3 months. You're not like this person, like you said, when you're with somebody else, you're going to look back and you're going to see things that you didn't, that's the best that I can say. It's like, I wish I could say that this person was a real soulmate. I mean, real twin flame. They're not a twin flame because they're not ready to step up into their divine being, like the best version of themselves, right? We know that because of how they treated you and also how they're treating the person that they're with. That's they do what they want to do. It's all about betrayal. That's who this person is. And that's an empty person. An empty person that actually doesn't have a purpose also tends to do that. Because people that have purpose and are purpose driven, like they have hobbies and interests and connect with other people to try to accomplish their goal. They join things, they're interactive in life. This person like tries to fill themselves through like that relationship, the passion, and also by being with people that they perceive are like the cream of the crop almost. So you're beautiful, you're successful, like you're everything that again this person put you on a pedestal, but that wasn't getting to know you. And it's easy to not notice it, okay, like if you're like so close up to the picture. So for you it's all about getting balanced. Otherwise that there's like a fear almost like relationships are hard. that it can't happen. It's about being more grounded to your body, being interactive in life, and connection to the body is connection to the physical world, all physical elements of the physical world. So joining things and cutting your energy off from this person, because you don't really know if you really do you really have feelings for a person that hasn't been around and hasn't been giving you anything for over a year, or is it that you're holding on to that energy? It's like, and it doesn't mean that that person doesn't think of you from time to time, but who cares? It's like they're giving you so little and you're holding on to that. It's like, no. It's like, that's why this person's comfortable. And that's a karmic mate, because someone that loves you doesn't do that. A twin flame doesn't do that. A twin flame says, what are you doing over there by yourself? Good looking. Like, let's go out and let's do something. Let me, like, again, forces them to be a better version. So they have to be more compassionate and more vulnerable and step into the higher levels of consciousness that are derived from unconditional love by surrendering their ego. This person's in their ego, but there's a part of you that holds on to it. So it's more about, what are you supposed to learn from this situation? And I told you one thing, and that's like, you never give, you never rely on one person to fill your cup up emotionally. It's like, it's unfair to the person that you're with too, because they can't do it for themselves as well as for you also. They can add to your cup, but they certainly can't fill it up. Sing, card number 1. Isolation, 2. Gifts, 3. Overwhelmed, 4. Physical touch, 5. Self-sabotage, 6. So I feel like these are your inner child wound cards. So our inner child, when we go through experiences that have wounded our psyche, right? Have wounded who we perceive our safety as a child, and that means emotional safety as much as physical safety, because the mind doesn't know the difference. The mind needs to see love, and that's why when you say, why am I still holding on to this jerk? And the reason why is because your mind will not let go of that person until it's replaced with something else, another passion. That's the law of alchemy. So law of transmutation. You could be like, I hate that person, but I can't let go of that person, and I love that person. And then you're holding on to a cognitive dissonance, and then it's like you formed a energetic like knot. So so you have to come to a place of surrender and understand that you cannot break unconditional love. And with any soulmate, there's unconditional love. You wouldn't stick around long enough to learn the lesson. There wouldn't be any purpose. You wouldn't remember the person. They would have no influence on you whatsoever. So the first people that have that is our parents. So when I see physical touch, it's that you didn't emotionally get what you needed. And it also says this because when a child doesn't emotionally feel like they're supported, they go through everything by themselves. They go into isolation every time that they have to go through a problem, but then that plays out as no one ever showing up for you, no one ever really being there for you, no one ever emotionally giving to you. That's the same karmic theme that plays out, because that's the wound that was imprinted on the psyche from when you were brought up. And so when that type of wounding is there, we don't see actually the physical trauma, because it's not like you have a black eye. However, there's detachment and disassociation. So you have gifts, a lot of spiritual gifts that I don't believe that you had developed during that time, but that this person made you become very intuitive. They made you become very, again, like where you actually had to pay attention to yourself, that you had to, again, invest in yourself. You had to give yourself something, because this person essentially was not giving you anything. So the spiritual wound is that when we haven't emotionally gotten what we needed, we tend to attract people that emotionally can't give to us. Now, you might always wind up being with somebody that isn't as emotionally intelligent, but this is like so far like on like the person's like really emotionally handicapped, where they don't know what to do, they feel awkward, they have a big ego, which is like being with someone that's on a low vibration, that's very immature, that doesn't know how to have a conversation. It's very, very difficult. So again, being connected to that energy, it would be self-sabotaging to you, when, right? Because being connected to someone that's going to make you feel like they're not emotionally never showing up for you, that means not just being there for you during your times, but if God forbid things in your life were happening, it's like being in a relationship by yourself, which is how you felt growing up. So it's, again, that's very overwhelming for a child. And it's very overwhelming for a person to be connected to somebody that's not bringing anything to the table. That's just kind of like taking. So that's what the energy would feel like. So Spirit says, you haven't learned. You haven't fully learned until you go through the experience and you do something different. That's how you transmute the negative energy. You have to embody the new consciousness. And so to go back into this connection. So would this person come back? Yeah, I think the person actually will come back. But by the time that they do, it's almost like too little, too late, and almost like, yeah, I know that I'm coming in so little, so late. And it's like, but that's that they're comfortable. So you're gonna pay more attention to this person, like being loved by this person or being respected, because I'm telling you, over time you'll see that it is a karmic relationship, because you may love this person today and be able to overlook those things, but I can guarantee as time goes by, you won't be able to do it. You'll get angry. You'll, like anyone else, it's like you would feel, because the person would make you feel undervalued. So that's, I feel like it was for you to find your gifts, for you to actually find your voice, to set boundaries, to be able to express what you want, to know what you want. So again, I feel like this person will come back, but they'll be the same person that they were. It's not like they're doing shadow healing work. This person ran to be with your friend. They haven't been back in over a year. They're not going to come back like until that they've exhausted everything in that relationship. And then when they do, it's like it's a day late, dollar short, and it's almost like you're gonna accept that into their life after they did that. Well, then that gives this person a license to be like, oh, I can treat you however I want. And like I said, you can overlook that today, but I can guarantee you are not going to be able to overlook it as time goes by. And because it's going to put you right back into this energy of not getting physically, emotionally what you need. Emotional support makes you feel safe. So even when we find our gifts, we still need to create the support that helps us to do that. So it's about loving yourself. It's like, but it doesn't mean that the person's not a soulmate. They are, but they're a karmic mate. I wish I could say that it wouldn't be. And if you called this person, because the question is that, I can guarantee the person would come and see you. And like, again, but would they be faithful? No. They would be, because they're not faithful to anybody. And then the person will also feel like, well, I really don't have to do anything here because I left, and it's a year and a half later, and there was no consequences for me to leave to be with your friend. That's number one. And number two, how I left you. There's no consequences. I'm going to come back here, give less, and you're going to call me. So I really don't have to do anything. And that, like you said, is like, you got to get out of here with that. It's like, because again, how much low all I ever wanted from a child was to be a singer. This is so well. And then it's like I feel like you got to put your energy into doing, being. It's like like you have gifts, and I feel like if you intuitively always felt I always wanted to be a singer, then do it. It's like put yourself out there. It's like give yourself the love. It's like, and I can guarantee, like people and situations are going to come into your life that are going to give to you. It's like, and that's really the best revenge. Because listen, that person, if you would have called them, they would like you less. Because it's like they don't like themselves enough to do what they do. And that's the thing. They have to get their cup filled from running around and cheating and doing everything like that. And it's not like they never had a connection with you, but it's like if they're not don't stick around long enough to feed it or don't want to take the time to feed it, then no. It's like this person cares a lot about what things look like from the outside. It's like, again, they liked everything that you were. So it's again almost like if I could hang out with people that I think are good, then I'm like that. People will associate me with who you are, and really after a while, people first of all people do not, and your energy winds up getting lowered because people notice like what you allow. So you could be the nicest person and you can hold yourself to a certain standard, but then be in a connection with someone that treats you like crap. Well, people are going to notice that, and then they're not going to treat you nicely. You ever wonder why you meet somebody and you're like, I don't know them, but they don't really treat me that nicely. It's because maybe they've seen how other people have treated you. Like if you're around family and your family tends to talk down to you, it's again, people get comfortable. So you don't want to give that because, like I said, it becomes a majorly toxic relationship over time because no one can be with a person that you know is only getting breadcrumbs because over time you're not going to want to do everything for this person. It's like in the beginning you're like, oh, you're so busy trying to chase this person to get this person to love you, and then it's like, and then by the time you would get them, I can guarantee you'd be like, what the fuck, this is it. It's like, yeah, because sometimes the chase is better than the actual prize itself. And that's what you need to ask yourself. And it's almost like entertainment, keeping your head busy. And the spirit says, don't waste your time. Put it on growing yourself. It takes a mustard seed. God makes that multiply. The universe is always conspiring to help you as long as you are helping yourself. So if your energy is connected to that person, it just drains you. All right. So, Laura, thank you for your time and sharing your gifts. What does selfish, lying, manipulative Pisces really feel? Is he just evil and ugly inside, or is it a protection mechanism? Well, I think that that's the thing. It's like, first of all, it doesn't matter if it's like done consciously or not consciously, because you're going to get the same thing. The problem is that people get used of treating people the way that they always have. So I feel like your person treats people the way that they have been all the time, and that makes them, look good, feel good. And so it is a protective mechanism. However, over time, like it's like the person doesn't feel bad about doing it. So that's the problem because you're like, okay, if we have a connection, why does this person do this? I feel like a lot of times a person could say, you know what, I have a connection, but I don't want to feed that connection. I don't want that connection. And it has nothing to do with you. You may be manifesting that into your life because, again, on some level, you attract people that don't show up for you. On like where they really can't show up. I'm not even talking about emotionally show up like the last person. I'm talking about literally like it just never can manifest. Maybe you never get chosen. It's whatever the karmic theme is that keeps playing out. Because if you want the person to stop being manipulative, you can't say, you know what, stop being manipulative, because they're not going to stop. What you have to do is you have to completely cut that energy and not feed it at all. Not is again, act like it does not bother you. You have to actually raise your vibration as high as it can go, like, because you can't deal with the person again on the same vibration that they're dealing with you, because they know hate. You can't get rid of hate with hate. Martin Luther King taught us that. Well, it's true. The more that you try and like, man, like it's like then they the person that you're connected to is like, see, I knew you were an asshole because look, and they're not looking at what they did. They're only looking at your reaction. So you don't want to go there. It's like, again, because that person's wounded. By the time that the person has already created a barrier where they're not paying attention to like what your feelings are, and they're being selfish, well, it's like, well, I don't feel the need that I have to tell you anything. When I tap into this person, I don't feel the need that I have to tell you anything. um, I give a lot of mixed messages. And I give you a lot of mixed messages because I want to keep you on the hook, because, I do have a connection to you, but I don't really want to do all that whole commitment thing right now. I'm not interested in doing that, or really even thinking about yours or anyone else's feelings, just pretty much my own right now. And so you want to give that person less time. That's it. It's again, just because it's not like that person's all of a sudden going to change. They don't change. What happens is you change, and that makes that person change, because what you're pretty much saying is, I'm not sticking around for you. That you let that person run around and do what they do. You live life. The universe conspires to bring you the people, situations, and experiences that are going to be best in alignment for you on a high vibration. This person will be running around with people on a lower vibration, so nothing will really even manifest. Just, just drama and, a bunch of lies and bullshit. So again, the end of the day, the person always wants to be back thinking about the person that has the better life, that didn't make it easy, that didn't. So they're going to do everything in their power to try to make you like an insecure person will give in to them. So like that selfish person will actually get a lot from a person that emotionally doesn't never got anything, so they don't notice that they're not getting anything. Or again, just that dynamic, like I said, but that person's on a lower vibration. But people on a lower vibration, they can't fill their own cup. They're connected to someone almost to be that helper, to be that doer, to be that, you know to be very codependent. They're not emotionally getting anything. They're getting, well, that's why I'm saying that's this energy. It's like it's I can feel that energy. That's why, and you can say, okay, that does this person have feelings for you? Yeah, but it's like they're gonna put you over on the shelf, because again, I don't really know what I want. And this is the way I learn, and I'm not gonna be apologetic for it. See, there'll be part of you that'll be like, well, if you really love me, why would you date all these other people? Well, that's partially is I don't trust myself. I may like that today, but I may not like it tomorrow. How will I know unless I try? So it's like I'm really not ready for you, the type of relationship that you want. You can see me that like to be on a higher vibration. I don't really want to be there. It's like so our goals and our things are not really in alignment. It's like and so during this time you have to cut your energy from this person. You have to. Because then what you're saying is the same exact thing. Like, I'm really not happy with what you do in here, but I'll wait on this park bench. And that person's like, well, I'm going to go to Macy's. I'm going to go to all these shops around here and I'll eventually get back to you. And if a person is allowed to treat you that way, they become very disrespectful. It's like they're not thinking about you at all. So unconsciously, you're teaching the person not to think about you. So even though it hurts and you don't really feel like going out and meeting anyone else, because it's like, oh, why does he have to make it so difficult? Tap into your energy. It's like where the spirit says you have to do this for yourself. It's like because that person doesn't want to feel responsible for like again, they don't know. No, remember unconditional love, there is no ownership, there is no expectation. Person has to figure it out on their own. And there's a sense of yes, we have a connection, but I am not going to figure out that faster than what you want me to figure it out. So then you're like, well, you're selfish, like you're not thinking about me. No, this person is not, especially if you're going to want this person to ever be in a relationship with you later on. If you want this person to be in a relationship with you later on, they have to come to it on their own, where people usually don't allow them to do that, which is why they have commitment issues. So that's why I'm saying it's a simple thing for you, but when will this person like really turn around? I feel like not for a really long time, BQ. Like, I mean, a long time. When I say a long time, I felt like four. And I wasn't feeling like 4 months. I was feeling like 4 years, like finally settled down. It's like, and that's because this person just, they have their own traumas. They're trying to figure out their life. So it's like, the connection is passionate and then of course this person would want what they want and not really be as attentive to you, so you have to do it for yourself. Otherwise that karmic lesson will play out with somebody else, and it's not because the person doesn't have feelings. They are selfish. It's like, but that's what it is. I wish I could say that it was different, but it's not. It's just oppressive. It's like kind of keeping you down. So what is the best way to say no to him when he comes back? To explain how no. Talk about his toxic no. Or do you just say, I'm not interested? You don't say anything. When the person comes back, you let that person do all the talking, and then you say, thank you for letting me know. It's like, well, I have to think about this, and you kind of, you don't make any decision because it's almost like you just kind of want to take it in, and you got to like think about it, because remember, if you turn around and yell at this person, if you to do that, it's like again, like listen, let's talk about your bad behavior. The person, you don't think the person knows about their bad behavior? They know. The key is not to say anything, because then it makes this person question. Otherwise, they don't really think about what they did. Anyone can come back and say, I'm sorry what I did. Yeah, 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 you're fucking sorry. You know exactly what you did. You wanted to do it in that way, but now you're going to say sorry. It doesn't mean shit. It's like, so I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to let you talk, and then I'm going to say thank you, and I'm going to be polite, and I'm going to be very diplomatic. I'm not going to give anything one way or the other. You know why? Because, hey, we got to this place, fuckhead, because you didn't give me anything. It's like you wanted to be selfish. You wanted me to, like, again, do all the work in this connection. That's how we got to this place, because of you. So if you were going to get out of this place, it's going to be because you're going to do all the fucking work. to get out of it. I'm not going to do anything. You know why? Because I already did it. I know that I can make the relationship work by myself, but I don't want to be in a relationship by myself. But I don't really know what you can do. So if you're coming back, you better be coming back different, because I don't need you to come back for the same exact fuck shit to happen again. Like, because you don't know. Well, I don't know. I try. Well, it's not about from going from one extreme to another either. It's that the person, like, you need to have a life. And that life is one that, again, is continually filling your life up with emotional support. Why I say that is like, you, otherwise you have no ammunition against anybody. It's like when you can walk away because you're like, listen, emotionally I'm fine, I don't need you, I'm fine on my own. Well, it makes you a lot more attractive. It's like, you, most people can't do that. Most people don't do that. So the thing is, I believe that people know their toxic behavior. So to say, let's talk about your toxic behavior, it's like they already know. If they're coming back, they should be apologizing for their toxic behavior by starting off and saying toxic behavior. And you can then turn around and say, oh, what toxic behavior are you talking about? Just like that. And then, because, hey, there may be a list, you make that person like say, well, the toxic. No, no, I really don't, because there was a few things. So I really don't know whether you know. It's like you put that person, you make that person accountable. And if they're willing to be humble and come back with their tail between their legs, because now they've surrendered their ego, well, then you got something to work with. Otherwise, you don't have anything to work with. The person comes back and they're like, oh, you're going to tell me how bad I was. And, oh, you're going to be upset. Maybe you're going to cry. Maybe, oh, so I see how much you care about me. I see how much you love. Oh, so it's like, but it's trained behavior. You took me back anyway, Amy. So, yeah, you don't like it, but you took me back anyway. So it's like you don't take this person back that easily. You make them accountable. I'm sorry for account like for what I did. What did you do? Oh yeah, yeah, that was pretty shitty what you did. That's right. It's like, so what do you want? It's like, you coming back to just tell me you're sorry, or are you coming back? Where are you coming back? What's your intention? Because a lot of times it's just assumed. Well, we're not gonna talk about that. It's just assumed. No, no, there's no assuming anything, because the person already showed you that you can't do that. And they're relying on you to just do that. And people that don't care enough about themselves or their time just allow people to, you know, they just assume that people are going to do the right thing by them. So it's like, we don't assume. We say, so what's your intention? What do you want? What are you giving me? In AKA words. Why? Because if the person doesn't want to invest any time, energy, focus, or money, or any resources into you, then they don't really care. Oh, I want to come over and do Netflix and chill. Like, it's like, maybe that's not the type of relationship that you want. So it's, again, what you have to say, are we even on the same page? Is your idea of a relationship and my idea of a relationship the same thing? It's like, a lot of times I think that people just assume people are going to do the right thing, and then when they don't do the right thing, that they wind up getting hurt. So people go from one extreme to another extreme, when really, Amy, at this point, there's part of you that's probably like, I don't know whether I like you. It's like, I like what I thought that you were. I like what I thought, what I know that you could be, but that is not who you showed me. So unless you come back in and you show me that version of you, well, I don't want this. It's like, but you don't need to say, let's talk about your toxic behavior because they already know about it. And then you're like the parent, you're like the mommy, listen. And it's like, no, you already know what you did. I'm not going to give you that. You know, you know that I know. And maybe I don't even know everything that you did. But guess what? I'm not going to tell you. And it's going to kill you because you're not going to know exactly what I know and how I truly feel because you didn't earn that. It's like, I'm not going to just be an open book to you, especially if you left and you treated me however, and now you think that you're going to come back. You know, you just text. You're welcome. I mean, that's what it is. It's hard, but I'm telling you, when you have emotionally things in your life, and that doesn't mean that that person doesn't love. It's like the person probably does love you, but remember, the depth of love. It's like we only know by how much a person is capable of loving themselves. That's number one. And number two, it's time. Relationships happen over time. I think that without communication, it's bad. So Amy, it's not like I feel like when a person comes back and you have to make them accountable, and then you could be like, well, I don't really know one way or the other about it, whether or not you want to hang out with them or not. You're probably going to feel a lot of different emotions because there's a part of you that still is like, I still have feelings for this person. And remember, because of the law of alchemy, until you transmute that energy, you can't. So you can't really get rid of that attachment. You have to, again, pour into yourself. And then it's like by giving yourself that energy, then you can see whether or not the person is actually going to put in effort. Because sometimes you're so available. Remember, you have to do things differently, is the whole thing. It's like you have to learn from the spiritual lesson and then take the lesson. If even if this person doesn't come back, and they come back half-assed, they don't really want to give you anything, then you don't waste your time. You notice, does this person's words and actions line up? Are they coming back? Are they acting different, or are they acting the same bullshit? It's like, I don't want that. Then you toss them out. And let me tell you something. Watch that person's head spin around so fast right off their shoulders, because they'll be like, what? They were so sure you were going to take them back. They were so sure because, hey, they know what they did hurt you, and they're coming back and they're not really trying to fix it. They didn't think they had to. Well, you got to show them a different side of you, because over time that does more damage to you than it does to them. So you think sitting there saying, let's explain how you hurt me would make you feel better. No, 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 you don't give that person that. But what you do is you hold them accountable for, like, again, who they are. You say, I recognize like how much you gave me. I recognize how much time you give me. I recognize your actions don't match your words. I recognize. So I don't really know what it is that you want. You're direct. Because the person that will come back and they'll be like, oh, I missed you so much. Let's go to the bedroom, they try to get you all swept away, like in that realm with the passion, so that you're not looking at the bullshit. It's like, oh, I just have to come back and tell you how, and it's like, part of it is, I do miss you. So I am coming back because I do miss you. But another part is, I also don't want to talk about what I did. I also don't want to be like accountable for what I did. And I might do it again because I like to be comfortable. I don't really want to have to follow any rules. And that's why I said, you can talk to the person all day until you're blue in the face about their toxic behavior. I guarantee they know about it. It's best that you don't. But then when they come back, what are you bringing me? What's the offer here? It's like, are you even worth my time? It's like they meet a different version of you, and now you're real direct. Let me tell you, if they're full of shit, they're gonna get out of your life real fast because they're like, oh well, now I got to do work, but I'm not doing that. I'll go to Marianne down the block. I'll go to Howard 2 blocks over. You know what I mean? It's like, because believe me, people like that, they pretty much, I know that I'm skating on thin ice. I know what I've given and I haven't given, and I'm not coming back with that much. And if I find them attractive, I'm sure other people find them attractive. So I have to have people on the back burner, side burner, and it's more about that person. It says more about that person. You just need to say, why did I attract that person? Like, what's the whole point? Why, like, what's the spiritual lesson? Which that's what I would ask for you, like, Amy, because once you integrate it, you may not even like the person anymore. You raise your vibration, you meet other people, you're introduced to different things. It's like, and you're like, wow, I didn't realize when you sat at this table, these people at this table, they travel around the world and they are very successful in their business and they are interactive in life. I've been sitting at that other table where, no one's happy and everyone's working a job that they don't like. And there's a failed relationship. It's like, it really does matter who you're going to be around. Self-love. So really, again, Spirit says the inner child wound for you, Amy, would be self-love, and needing to learn self-love. Rage, that's a root chakra imbalance. So not feeling connected or supported. And also like growing up in an environment where someone was really angry. And so you felt that you couldn't be loved, where it's, again, it's that person had trauma. They didn't know how to like it. I feel like they had a lot of anxiety, and anxiety um, looks like rage when the person like has it. So um, not getting that support because of that parent. That parent actually needed like spiritual healing. They actually needed to be reconditioned from the environment that they grew up in. And so, self-love, rage, love is confusing. But again, your intuition is very strong and always has been. And Spirit says, use the open space. Space is to create. It's to create a new version of yourself. It's like growing up in an environment where, again, love is confusing, where love is not confusing. But the love that you were shown. So you have to reparent yourself, because again, all our parents had, they grew up in environments and whatever was going on in the environment, and not to mention ancestral karma and everything else that we inherit. Because there's a story of who you think you are, then there's a story of who you truly are. And you say, well, why does that? And Spirit says, for God's glory, you wouldn't have a relationship with the universe, because the universe is God, is the energy of unconditional love. That's the energy that's inside of you, where Spirit says you need to get back to that energy of unconditional love. So if you were raised in an environment where someone made you feel bad, that again, because of their anxiety, where you felt like, well, I couldn't, that was the first imprint, like that. Yes, I knew that the person loved me, but it didn't look like love, and it was scary, and wasn't supported. Well, Spirit says, well, you need to rewrite those programs, because love really isn't confusing, but you have to become it, meaning you have to do it for yourself, become an expression of unconditional love. You have to embody that energy, and with the open space, and not give time to somebody that, like you said, isn't treating you right, is what really Spirit's saying, because it's almost like keeping you stuck to that feeling of, well, again, I'm not loved, where Spirit says you are lovable. It's like that person had anxiety. I realized what it looked like. It was scary. It made you not feel supported. But that's, again, it doesn't matter. It needs to be integrated, because that's, first of all, is not a true story. There's many different realities that play out at one time. Your level of consciousness, your perception, due on the experiences that have played out in your life. So rewrite the script on that. And that's by finding yourself, by giving yourself that self love, becoming the expression of love. Then you would know, hey, this person, like, I feel like they're full of shit. And the reason why is because you're not so close up to the picture. So you're giving yourself that love. So you're filling up your own cup, and you can tell when someone's coming in with a little sippy cup, opposed to like, hey man, that's a goblet. Like, that's a huge, like, beer cup. It's like, no, this person's coming in with a tiny little Dixie cup. You know what I mean? You wouldn't know the difference. And so, like you said, there were telltale signs that you didn't notice, where spirit's saying it's just. But then when there was inner authority, like, you should have said something, but you didn't really know how. And that becomes a second chakra imbalance, where it's like, I want to say something, I didn't say anything. And it's like, where it's, if you were very invested in your life, trust me, like, getting what you needed, you'd be able to, like, set boundaries, have listened to that inner authority, set boundaries, and they wouldn't have been able to get away with half of what they got away with. That's why they weren't a karmic. People very rarely just change. It's like time and attention. We know that they didn't give you the time and attention, and where spirit says, okay, so to reparent yourself, you give yourself the time and attention. And that is, like, a lot of times we don't want to do that, because we say, well, what the hell am I going to do by myself? And spirit says, find yourself. It's like, it's best without someone being right there saying, no, that's not really what you feel. Is that you get to explore. It's not like, be like childlike. There's a reason why it says it like that, because children just go out and play. They discover. They don't have expectation of anything. They're just seeing what they like, where this is connected to actually your soul's path, Amy. That's why, like, again, it's that second chakra, because I feel like that parent made you not really feel good about yourself, strong within yourself. And that will affect money, and that will affect relationships. So understand, like, when you integrate the spiritual lesson, that all you have to do is really feed yourself. When you do, a life opens up. And then whoever comes into your life, you're not going to give them too much, because the path unfolds, and you would intuitively feel like, okay, like, this person is trying to take too much from me. So what is this on you? God made you sexually attracted, so you can stay to learn the lesson. God is it's true. It's like, we wouldn't learn if we didn't have that intense connection. It's about, but really, it's the relationship. The universe doesn't care whether you're with the person or not. It doesn't, because if you stay long enough, you're learning the lesson, whether you're with the person on a romantic level or you're not, because of that. It's like, we have free will, and we will always get people that are going to help us evolve into the best version of ourselves, which is back into unconditional love. It doesn't mean that it's an easy ride, depending on how much trauma we have. It's not easy to be vulnerable when you were taught not to be vulnerable. It's not easy to be transparent when you've been shamed your entire life. I mean, you're dealing with people that have a lot of spiritual blocks. You're welcome, Amy. Did you resonate with that? Okay, Richard Connor. It's funny how the timing seems to always fit, but a bit later or sooner. I think that sometimes, like, if you've already gone through the situation, you're still learning it. You still need to learn it, because guess what? You're going to have to go through that experience again, just with different faces. I mean, that's what the karmic lessons are. This is why we want to do shadow readings, because what winds up. Okay, great. I'm glad. Thank you for that confirmation. Um, like, that's the thing. You need to realize that what you resist persists, that until you heal that energy, because whatever experience that you went through like made an imprint. A samskara is a combination of astral energy and emotional energy held in the body as stress. It's what determines your energy vibration. So when you say, I'm a magnet of who and what, how does the universe know? Well, it's again due to the traumas that you've gone through. So it's all about um, having to learn the lesson, because you're going to get the lesson again and again and again and again and again until it's finally learned. Now, even when you learn it, you still got the lesson a few more times. The difference is that the first time you're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, there's a lot of anxiety. By the second time, it's like, oh my God, you're still nervous, but now you're getting mad. You're like, what the fuck, this shit. Third time, now you're just mad. You're like, what the fuck is this shit? By the fourth time, you're like, oh, really? By the fifth time, it's like, oh, come on, you're like so annoying, really? By the seventh time, you're not even paying attention. It's like, it gets no energy, because you get to see a different version of yourself. So it's almost like the situation, you keep going through the version of the situation. And that version of the situation is again gives you an opportunity to see yourself through all those different levels of consciousness, but you get to see how much you have evolved, because what you'll see over time is, oh my God, I remember when someone used to do this to me. It used to infuriate me. It used to like react. Or this person used to be able to get underneath my skin. I used to be so afraid when they would do this. And now I'm like, yeah, it's bullshit. They always say that they're leaving and they never really leave. It's like, you're not afraid anymore. You don't react the same way anymore. And that's really what it is with these karmic relationships that are so difficult. We tend to go around and around and around and around, always hoping to get a better result. The person, meaning the person's going to do the right thing. But if you would just change, you would get a better version of that person, because that makes the person surrender their ego. If there's real love there, it's like, well, they're not going to be able to like squash it. Even in this story before, um, person that was hurt. When do you think I will meet? I don't know. I don't answer that question. When you would think I will meet? It's like, because it's never going to be accurate. Spirit has no time. It's like in divine time. Just know that if you really want a partner, a best friend, and lover, it's to do all those things for yourself, and to be your own best friend, to be your best partner. It's like I say that because you have to become the energy. If there's a sense of, I don't really feel like it's going to happen, I don't know how it's going to happen, I feel like, well, that's the whole thing. You create your own reality, but I tell you how you can make that happen, and what you aren't doing, which would prevent it from manifesting. See, again, there's many realities that play out at one time. So people think, oh, I can't have a boyfriend, or I never meet that person. It's like, it's not that you can't. I have a girlfriend that is like, she's always on the chat line, and she meets like people that are like married, this, that. And she's like, oh, it never happens for me. No, it's not going to happen that way. And it's because she really wants a relationship. Like, she didn't grow up in a family that mother and father. She hasn't had that ever in her life. No one in her family has ever had it in her life. So there's a real like fear that it can't happen in her life. And I keep telling her, you're not going to get it. Keep going on the chat line. And she does everything. She now is like, I date people that are 60. I date people that are 20. I date people that are this. And it's the same shit. It's the same karmic theme. So, and that's because she doesn't believe it can happen. And so you create your reality by not even thinking about it, by knowing that it's already granted to you. When you again can embody that energy of unconditional love, then you're going to meet your best friend, because guess what? If you're doing things that fill your soul up, you're going to meet a person that's like-minded, because where are you going to meet them? Through the things that you're invested in. Relationships happen over time. Trust happens over time. It's like that. Otherwise, it just doesn't happen. It's like, I feel like it, otherwise, it's like people are so afraid. They get brainwashed by being like, well, this person dated this person and this happened. It's like, like instead of just like creating it, like that's why I'm saying it's like, and spirit has no time. So you could say, yeah, we're 3 to 5 years, I would feel like, but it's like there's always divine intervention. It's more or less to understand that you want to make sure that you're getting someone that is right now going to treat you the way that you want to be treated. That should be the main thing, because I feel like you're still finding yourself. So to meet someone now while you're still like growing, where a lot of times we say, well, I want to meet someone while I do that. It's like you said, it's not bad to do it by yourself. You get to know what you really like. So I feel like it said 3 to 5 years, but remember, spirit has no time. And it's not about that, but for you, it's more about embodying the energy so that you can see, I'm an attractive person. People ask me out all the time. It really can happen. Otherwise, you're with somebody that makes it like you're difficult to love. And no one needs that. Yeah, like, and also like mirrors how you treat yourself. And that's the thing. So you don't want that. You want somebody, um you want somebody gonna give you what you didn't have, and but that only happens by you becoming it. And like I said, I think a lot of people didn't emotionally get what they needed. So there's a part that really is like, I want to find somebody. But I'm telling you, when you have the love affair first in your own life, where you're meeting people and you're interactive and you actually see what your options are, you make better choices. So that's the advice. Does anyone else have any other questions? Now, I know that the reading's a lot. Again, that wasn't a lot of good advice, because, again, I mean, it was good advice, but the readings, I mean, the people, like, these were hard readings. I mean, the people that everyone's dealing with don't have the best interest at hand. Thank you, BQ. Like, that's the thing. It's like, don't settle for less. Have a love affair with yourself. Date a lot of people. This way, you know exactly what you like and what you don't like. And sometimes it's practice, remember, especially if you dated a few people that were narcissistic. Sometimes it's just practice to be like, what do you want to do, instead of you saying, oh, I don't know, whatever you want to do. Like, you say, you know what, I'd like to go bungee jumping. I want to walk naked on the beach. I want to, to whatever it is that you want to do. It's like, get into the habit, because into relationships. And then it's also, people aren't really treating you the way that you deserve to be treated. And we don't realize that we teach people the way that we want to be treated. And sometimes when we really like someone a lot, we tend to hold back. We tone it down a little bit. We only show them the good version of ourselves. Well, when you date just to date to have fun, you can be yourself. And I think it's about learning how to be comfortable in ourselves. I feel like you need to do that too, BQ. I'm being told that. Yeah, dancing naked in the rain, whatever the hell you want to do. You know what I'm saying? It's like you want to be be yourself. It's like I feel like a lot of times if you're uncomfortable in a relationship, the relationship's not going to go well. If you're uncomfortable with yourself, it doesn't work out either. So that's why, yeah, we want to do whatever's going to make you happy, you know, and that's not the easiest thing to do sometimes. Like I said, especially if you're with a really like powerful and dominant like personality. Like you said, we have to get used to dealing with those personalities and dealing with, because it's not about changing the environment, it's about changing ourselves, becoming strong within ourselves. That's what these readings are about. All right, I'm going to take off if that's it. I hope you resonated. I actually wish that no one resonated, but they're shadow readings. But I know that there were people that resonated. Thank you again for sharing your energy with me. But I hope that you guys get to integrate the spiritual lesson. That's the key. So you get to see yourself differently. So you get to quantum jump into the reality that you want to experience. Thank you, John and BQ and Amy and everyone else that joined tonight. All right, I'll be on again tomorrow. Bye.